Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God, sons and daughters of God, Goddess, Source. Thanks for dropping by. So, for a very long time, I've sought enlightenment, healing, growth, and then I came across teachings of a very great master named Bruno Gröning, one of the most Christ-like beings I've ever encountered. You can find out more about him at my website, www.thehealingstream.org. And he basically, he would do energy work on like 30,000 people at once, and paralyzed people would stand up and walk, blind people would regain their vision. He was truly Christ-like. And he said some interesting things. He said that he was just an instrument of God, that it wasn't him who healed, that he was merely a servant of God. Now, a servant can have some negative connotations, but there's the other connotation of just one who is in complete service to something, like to be a servant of love, to be a servant of life, where one's whole life is just committed to serving something. So he said that about himself, that, this very Christ-like being just said, look, I'm just an instrument of God. I'm just a servant of God. And then he said something even more interesting. He said, and so are you. You've just forgotten. You just don't fully believe yet. And so that really got me reflecting on, why do spiritual work? Why seek to grow? Why seek to heal? Because for most of my life, it was because I was tired of suffering. That's why I was doing all this. I genuinely loved the divine, this presence I felt when I would meditate and pray. But, a lot of it was actually selfish. Not necessarily in a bad sense of the word, but focused on, I won't say selfish, but focused on myself. Like, I want to be free. I want to be happy. I love this love that I feel when I pray and meditate and dance and do yoga. Like, I love whatever this is. I love it. I want more of it. But then as I really reflected on what Bruno Gröning said about being an instrument of God, a servant of God, and then I was guided to study some Buddhist teachings which talk about specifically the Mahayana school of Buddhism, which emphasizes the practice of desiring enlightenment so that we can lead others to enlightenment, desiring freedom or liberation for the sake of saving and helping others. It was a life-changing teaching for me to take all of that desire that I had for enlightenment, peace, freedom, love, and now to fire it up even more by saying, I want that, so that I can help others, so that I can become in the language of Bruno Gröning, an instrument of God, in the language of Buddhism, so that I can become a Buddha, a liberated being that can actually liberate others. So I invite everyone to cultivate this attitude. It's deeply empowering, and it draws on one of I'd say one of our, if not the deepest desire we all have, is for peace, freedom, and happiness. But then right behind that is the desire that we all have to help others. We come into this world wanting to give. And you combine those two things together, and it's very powerful. So I invite everyone to the desire. If you're a Christian, you might say to become more like Christ, so I can help to become truly a servant of God. If you're a Buddhist, you might say, so that I may become fully liberated, that I may liberate others. If you're Muslim, you might say, I want to learn to serve the will of Allah. There's many, we can get caught up in different concepts and specific words, but the principle is the same. Specifically, actually in Islam, it would be surrender to Allah, so as to serve Allah's will. Same idea, slightly different emphasis languaging.